As I travel the country in search of wild birds, I'm always amazed at the variety and diversity available to today's upland hunter. From chasing grouse in the thick north woods, to western chukar hunting under endless skies. Virtually every corner of this nation holds wild birds, and experts with the know-how to put you on them. For me, this will be a series of firsts. This is a hunt for two unique species of quail. This is a hunt in some of the Southwest's most spectacular scenery. This is wild upland. When I bought my English setter Jones, I knew I would have to learn right alongside him about training a pointing dog. We're both still learning, so in that spirit, I've decided to try something new to me. And I suspect a lot of upland hunters. So every year around January in late season, I head to Arizona to hunt quail. And I typically hunt Gambel's quail a little bit north of Phoenix, but this year I decided I'd like to target a different species, Mearns and scaled quail. And to do that, you gotta head pretty south, and this time decided to head south of Tucson because I called up Patrick Flanagan, who is with Border to Border Outfitters, and he's like really well-known guy down to hunt Mearns in southern Arizona. And so I called up Patrick. He's helped me out with the magazine a few times with pictures and just information. And he said, come on down, we'd love to have you and love to get you on some Mearns down here.
So Border to Border Outfitters is a all wild bird experience in 3 states, Arizona, Minnesota, and then we have a private lodge in South Dakota. The species of quail are Gambel's quail, scaled quail, and Mearns quail here in Arizona, but kept our roots to hardcore hunting. You know, it's hardcore hunting is what we offer.
So they typically like to stay down in the bottoms or more up top?
Well, my thought on the Mearns quail is that they'll roost up higher on these slopes. So I start the mornings usually generally on a ridge with an upslope from the bottom.
Yeah.
That way the dogs can cover a lot of ground with their nose.
Nice.
And then as the day progresses, we'll work down into the bottoms.
Okay. So the upland community is kind of small. Instagram has really brought us together, honestly. You know, we all share our photos on on Instagram, and hashtag Upland Hunting has really brought us to all know each other. And so I've known Robert for a while through Instagram because he's a phenomenal photographer, and I've actually reached out to him regarding photos for Gundog magazine. And so I know him as a passionate upland hunter, and I was fortunate that he was going to be down here guiding for Patrick during this trip, and that I could meet him because, you know, I enjoy meeting like-minded people.
The more you're willing to push through a little bit tougher terrain, the better birds you're gonna find, in my opinion. And even as good as the quail hunting has been this year, we're averaging around a mile a covey. So people will ask, how many coveys do you think we'll see today? And I say, well, how many miles do you wanna walk? Be prepared for some steep terrain. We're at elevation. We're not super high, but the elevation definitely is a factor. And yeah, you've got to come in shape with a good pair of boots that's broken in and be prepared to log some miles to see the birds.
Whoa! Whoa! I think we're real close to these birds. Now we just got to get one of these dogs to actually give us an accurate find on them.
They're running.
Sometimes they will run a little in this rocky soil and in here. I wouldn't expect them to run a ton, but
Yeah.
once one of these dogs gets an accurate point, they're gonna be stuck for us.
Wild Upland is brought to you by Purina Pro Plan, nutrition that performs. And by Browning, the best there is. Fiocchi, your upland ammo for every pursuit. Onyx, know where you stand. Lucky Duck, loyalty goes both ways.
Border to Border Outfitters covers the spectrum. From great hunting to incredible staff and lodging. This is truly an oasis in some otherwise pretty rough country. But at its core, Border to Border is about the dogs and the crucial role they play in making everything else come together. Patrick's a dog guy. He runs multiple different species. He runs GSPs, he runs setters, he runs pointers, and you can tell how much he loves them, truly. He has a deep passion for them, a deep understanding of dogs. You know, to him, bird hunting is almost second when his dogs are first, and it's about them, and it's about the hunt and the pursuit.
I have 16 adult dogs and 5 puppies, and we're about to come out of our season and shift focus to the dogs that need attention, and I'm more excited about ending the season and going right back into the field with my puppies and developing dogs. That's the future.
A bonus to chasing Mearns quail is that they prefer to live in some of the most spectacular scenery in the lower 48.
You want to stay down, I'll go in and flush. Whoop, whoop, whoop! Nice shot. Birds, birds. Whoop, whoop!
Good boy! Good boy! Come here. Catch him up.
Good boy. Come here. Let me see.
That's a nice bird, Jones. That's a nice bird, Jones. So Mearns are notoriously hard to smell. They give off little scent, and so it was really good for Jones to be able to follow along behind these, you know, phenomenal bird dogs who do this every day and are used to it. And it was good for him to learn from them. And so I was fortunate that, you know, we had a morning where he could go out and he'd get birds in his face and he could understand what we were hunting, the type of quail that we're hunting. And there was a few times when he'd be honoring, but he didn't really smell what they were smelling, so he'd kind of run through. And, you know, wild birds make wild bird dogs.
Whoop! It's all right, there's still more in there probably.
Hot.
That live creek down the bottom was a lifesaver for the dogs, them being able to get in and get a dip when they got too hot. It was a fun morning, and yeah, we got a bird in the bag, and got to watch some nice dogs run, so that's the best.
Last push of the day.
Yep, last push. We're gonna get up a little bit in the higher stuff, be able to see the whole country down to the south. And basically with these two, we just send them off, she points, and then Rita comes in and kind of finishes off.
Cool.
Ooh.
Guess we should check it out, huh?
Mearns country can be the ultimate challenge or the sweetest reward. It depends on where they are at that day the dog led you into them. We try to push the client to the full capabilities of which they can physically do and offer an adventure and a challenge at the same time with the reward of a very tight holding flush. Whoop, whoop.
That was revenge.
Did
Montezuma's revenge.
Did good girl. Did I mean, what an exotic bird to hold that. Come on. Mearns quail is. Come on. Just puts a smile on people's faces that are etched in your head.
Good girl. Thank you. What a beautiful bird. I like that little tuft on his head.
Yeah, and it's a late young bird still.
Nice.
Well, mature.
Gotta put it on the B2B quail holder. So Mearns hunting ended up being, you know, hard and challenging, and it ended up being everything that I was really hoping it to be, because I got to see phenomenal dog work. I got to see, you know, dogs that held point for 15 minutes at a time. You know, my young dog got on Mearns. It was honestly everything I could hope for, and I was able to bring to bag 2 hen Mearns. And, you know, honestly, I whiffed on my chance. My last day, I had, you know, a chance at a covey, and I missed, and I was mad at myself for a sec, but I reminded, these are upland birds, these are wild birds, and this is what we're passionate about. And I have to remember that sometimes the birds have to win. And that's okay, because we love them, we love this conservation of the birds, and we love the pursuit and running our dogs on them and just being out in nature and in the wild and in these untouched landscapes. And sometimes that's just what it's about. It's not about bringing birds to hand, it's about being out there and doing it. And I couldn't have asked for a better experience down here chasing Mearns quail. Hunting grounds for scaled quail will require a bit of a drive, but in this country, a road trip is a chance to see history in real life. Kind of cool. Sometimes we get to go from place to place to hunt birds, and on the way we get to stop at unique places. And in the middle of Arizona, so why not stop at Tombstone, the iconic city of the West? When you think of Arizona, you think of Tombstone. It was, you know, one of the first wild towns of the West. And so, of course, I come down here and I'm like, we have to visit Tombstone, because I personally love the history behind everything. And what a unique experience to be out hunting birds, and then on the way home, we're able to swing by Tombstone and see what's going on there. Scaled and Gamble's quail live in completely different habitat than Mearns. And their behavior, once you put dogs on the ground, shows how truly different they are. So I also know Jacob Lytle through Instagram. You know, it's a small little upland space for all of us, and he's helped me out at the magazine. He's a phenomenal photographer, and he's a big English setter guy. He also runs a lab at Heel, which, you know, I run a setter in the labs. And really, really great guy, and you can tell how passionate he is about upland hunting. And he was nice enough to let Jones run with his dog so that he could get a little bit more experience under his belt. You know, Jones has run on gambles before, but never on scaled, and, you know, never at the level that Jacob's dogs have done on quail. So it was really neat to walk around with him in the field and, you know, hear how knowledgeable he is about quail in Arizona. And overall, we had just an amazing day because we got into some scaled and gambles quail. Ready?
All right, let's head off this way.
See you later. We hadn't even walked 30 yards from the truck when he got a notification that one of his dogs was on point, and I'm just like, wow, okay.
So they're gonna be upwind, so I want you to go in up this way.
You know, we were just in a hot area for scaled quail, and right away, come over a rise, and we see his dogs on point, we see Jones honoring.
Did you get one?
I did.
We gotta go straight there because they run.
Yes, sir.
Bailey here. Bailey here.
It was a huge covey. We were thinking maybe it was two coveys that had come together, and I wasn't sure if they were gambles or scaled. You know, of course, I'm shooting because birds are flying, and I was able to bring down my first scaled quail, which was really neat because what a beautiful bird to have in hand. It's a really unique bird. They've got, you know, the scaled feathers on their chest, and it was my first, and it was like such a cool experience to do down here in Arizona after I had shot my first Mearns quail. Good girl. My first scaly. That was awesome. Good dog work.
Awesome. Reload.
Loaded.
Push forward a little bit. It could be a single. There's a bird. Coming out, coming out. Oh, behind you.
Hot damn! Shooting percentage went down. So what was really cool about the area is that they seemed to hold a lot of birds in a small amount of time. We were able to get into plenty of coveys to get a lot of scent in the dogs' nose. The gambles and the scalies tend to give off a little bit more scent than the Mearns do, so it was really good for Jones, and he was able to follow behind these other dogs and out hunting on his own as well, and I could tell right away that he's birdied the whole time, so that made me happy to see because he was really hunting. And we were getting into birds left and right. And at one point, we had all three dogs on point, you know, honoring each other. And I walked up, and it was just a majestic scene. At one point, we had all three dogs on point, you know, honoring each other. And I walked up, and it was just a majestic scene.
Come here.
You know, I love Arizona. It's a place that I come to every year to hunt, and it was just an awesome thing for me to come down here and be able to knock off two quail species that I've never hunted before and bring them to bag. So we spent all day afield every day. You know, we were putting 8 to 10 miles on the boots and, you know, in really tough country. And so we were tired every time we came home at night. But what was great is we had Bree at home, who was just this master chef and just such a unique personality. We just fell in love with her automatically. You know, she had great one-liners. She really brought such a fun ambiance to this lodge. What a cool way to end the day, honestly, to come back and eat quail, something that Bree had created, and sit around and swap stories with her and show her all our pictures from a day afield.
What is that? For marshmallows?
Oh yeah, you gotta get really
You gotta
close.
get in there.
You're definitely gonna light your fire with those. The hottest burning flame. Oh yeah.
If this was oak, I mean, we
Border to Border Outfitters as a team is the only thing that I ever really wanted or to make happen, because to do this on your own is to go to sleep on your own, wake up on your own, and share your happiest moments on your own. And so now we share them at a dinner table with Brianna cooking meals, putting smiles on faces, nice bottles of wine poured, camaraderie with Robert and Jacob, our guides in the field, and going over photos and videos at the end of the day that are sending people home with lifelong memories.
So this trip truly lived up to its expectations. I was really excited about coming down here to hunt because I've never been all the way this south. I was excited about hunting with Patrick. You know, he's such a hardcore bird dog guy and hardcore hunter. I was excited to hunt species that I've never hunted before and bring to bag, you know, Mearns and scalies, which, you know, I've never killed, and knock those off my list. And then awesome to bring down Jones, you know, get him on some new country and run him in new places where he's never been and on birds that he's never been on before. And to see, you know, the camaraderie here at Border to Border and the family that it is, honestly, this has made it such a unique, awesome experience, and I walked away really, really happy.